In today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 common food items, probably in your fridge and pantry, that are causing your chin hair. Now listen, I do not like the struggle of chin hair, and after becoming a mom, my chin hairs were increasing. That's a different video, but today I'm going to tell you why. 3 reasons why. The third one is going to blow your mind, but I'm going to give you a bonus 4th reason at the end, and you're going to just be so surprised at how that is causing you to have increasing chin hairs. As a woman, it's so embarrassing to have chin hair, and it can even feel shameful. You know, you can find yourself hiding in social situations, not wanting people to come up close because you don't want them to see that chin hair. And I'm going to share these foods with you so that you can cut them out of your diet and start seeing reduced chin hair on your chin. Number 1 is dairy. Dairy. Starting heavy here. You may be thinking, Annie, how does dairy cause chin hair? Dairy products are causing you so much increase in chin hair because of what the cows are being fed these days. Not just the food they're eating, but the hormones they're getting. They're getting so many hormones in order to get them to produce more milk faster. Tons of milk. Let me actually share this with you. I have this here on my computer. A study that has shown that dairy and milk products increase insulin-like growth factor, which can increase your androgen production. What are androgens? Androgens are male hormones. So your testosterone, beard, right? You know that from men? Your androgen hormone productions and lead to excess hair growth. Now, this study was done by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2005, and it shows how dairy products, that was back then, it's only getting worse with dairy products. Now, what can you do instead of eating dairy products? Number 1, if you want to continue eating dairy products, because you know, cheese, milk, it can all be so delicious, butter, but you can get milk and cheese and butter from local sources, local farmers. I already know the next question because I get this all the time. But it's expensive. What do I do? Well, you know what? Because it's expensive, you will eat less, which is good for your health anyway. Cheese, butters, they're clogging up people's arteries, getting strokes and heart attacks. I'm just saying it like it is, okay? I like those things too, but we have to realize that as a society, we've overdone it. You can get it from a local farmer's market, someone who is taking care of their cow like your grandparents or great-grandparents used to do. Something else that comes up every time I'm telling people about this. People say, well, you know, my grandma drank a cup of milk every day and nothing happened to her. Well, yes, but she also either raised her own cow, or back then they were not trying to do the production at this level. You know, things were cleaner. People were not driven by money. They were driven by quality food. And now you have people doing that again. And if you go to your farmers markets, or if you know someone who lives out in the country, they can tell you someone who sells milk from a cow that is raised properly and is not given a bunch of hormones that then translate to your chin hair. So that's number 1. Dairy. I go deep, you guys. I want to show you exactly how dairy is causing your increased chin hair. But if you listened carefully, you also heard that I mentioned the word insulin when I talked about dairy. Insulin, yes, it is the thing that is connected, the hormone that is connected with diabetes. And your insulin also gets thrown off by dairy. Did you know that one of the highest determining factors for type 1 diabetes is drinking milk as a child? So it is so much more likely for a child that drinks a ton of milk to get type 1 diabetes than one who doesn't. Isn't that crazy? Again, we have to look at what's driving the food sources these days and what we're getting from the stores versus what we naturally use to consume, and see how that's damaging society. Chin hair, okay? So number two, we're gonna make number two a little lighter than number one, and it is your processed foods. When I talk about processed foods, I'm talking about anything that is not in its natural state anymore. So, pastas. Now, someone might say, I make my own pasta, so is it a processed food? Well, no. If you're taking your grains, you're milling them, you have your whole grain, maybe you sift it, get it to be, a little finer, take that, make your homemade pasta, or you buy pasta that is homemade or small batch created. It's not as processed, okay? It is just a food that changes form. I'm talking processed. I'm talking ramen noodles. Even some of the breads we eat from the stores are highly processed. I have the craziest thing that just happened to us recently. So I make bread. And when we have our homemade bread, it can sit out on the counter for maybe 3 days. After that, it starts molding and it's gone. I have bread that has been in my house over a month from the store. We bought it when a storm was supposed to come into town. So we just wanted to make sure we had, food stocked away for the storm. And it just sat there on top of the fridge. It still had not molded after a month. Do you know how much preservatives have to be in food to not make it mold? Like, it's bread. It's the same thing. Same thing, right? As homemade bread that gets spoiled in 3 to 4 days. So processed foods, we're also talking about high fat, high sugar, fried foods, also under the processed foods. Anything that is not in its natural form anymore. They took it, it used to be a bean, but now it's something else. It used to be a grain, and now it's something quick. It tastes really good because it has sugars and it has fats and tons of salt, the wrong kinds of salt that cause other problems. But processed foods also spike up your androgen hormones and your insulin. Matter of fact, see, I brought the research so that you can actually see what it does. And there was a study done by the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. That's where it was recorded. And this study showed that a diet high in refined carbohydrates has been shown to cause spikes in your insulin levels, which then disrupts your hormone balance and again increases the production of excessive hair growth in women. It is a very sad thing that people are not being shown the results of what society and the food industry has been doing to us, and especially as women, we are seeing a lot of these results showing up in our bodies. This is one of them, processed foods. So what can you do instead? Well, one of the things I teach women is to, especially moms, in our program, we have a monthly membership program. And what we do is, of course, we teach all of this stuff. But one of the things is how to make a lifestyle that is not dependent on processed foods, how to make it sustainable. Excuse me. I'm going to take a sip here. How to make it sustainable. Because one of the things you want is to not feel like it's overwhelming, right? Well, if I don't eat this processed food because it's quick to prepare, and I'm a busy mom, and my kids, like the taste of this processed food, how do I switch them over? How do I learn how to prepare and still have time? Because I can't be a farm woman, right? Making everything from scratch. Absolutely. I totally get it. I have 5 children, and I get that it has to be sustainable and it cannot be overwhelming. But this food is doing so much damage to our hormones and causing us to have chin hair. So I know you don't want to have it either. And you can learn some of the tips and pointers from that. I will put a link below if you want to check it out, okay? So there we go. I'm gonna put the third one up here because I noticed on this board, if I go too low, you will not be able to see it. Number 3, another reason that you have chin hair that you don't want on your face. And you know what the crazy thing is? While we're growing chin hair, our head hair is falling out. Isn't that wild? That is just crazy. A lot of these similar things are at play, but that's not what we're talking about today. I'll talk about that in another video. Number 3 is coffee. Oh my goodness, you guys. Coffee. Whenever I mention coffee, someone just wants to turn the video off. They're like, you know what? I don't even know if I can trust this woman because she wants to take my energy source from me. And the truth is no. Coffee is part of why your energy source is the way it is. It is a bad cycle. It just causes a mess in your body. There's research coming up about that. There are books being written about by doctors about the effects of coffee on women's health, especially why? Because a ton of moms take coffee to stay alert, to stay awake. I've heard women say, I can't start my day without coffee. Oh my. Let me show you how coffee is causing your chin hair. So coffee is a neurostimulant. What that means is it tells your body, it tells your brain that there is danger. It stimulates your brain. Hey, wake up. Hey, there's danger. And it tells your body to produce cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. So basically, what coffee is doing is it is inducing stress in your body. It is creating fake stress in your body. It is as if someone yells to you or you see through the corner of your eye that there is a lion in the room and you're like, there's a lion in the room. And you're like, oh no. You get awake, you get a ton of energy, you are super ready to fight or to run away, and you are just so amped because of coffee. And you see that it's a good thing because you're like, okay, now I can start my day. I feel energized. What that stress hormone does, that cortisol, what it does is it tells your body to store fat, not just any kind of fat. It tells your body to store what's called visceral fat. Visceral fat is that fat that's like under your skin. And if you've seen pictures, they show it as this chunk of just white part. It is a deadly fat. It is stored under your skin because your body wants to use it as energy, a high source of energy, if you have to fight or flee, to run, so you can have that burst of energy. But when you're stressed and you're not going to fight a lion or run from it, that fat is just stored. It's stored and layers and layers and layers of it. Now that fat, we can talk about how to get rid of that fat and, how to get rid of the stress, but that's another video. In this video, I'm going to tell you that fat can stimulate your body to produce androgen hormones, to throw off your womanly hormone structure and start producing more testosterone. So now when you're off of coffee, you're a little bit bossy and cranky and moody, and you get anxious a lot. You may even feel depressed or at least like unhappy, very hard to please, very low energy when you're not on coffee. Your body ends up going through what's called adrenal fatigue because you keep telling it a line is in the room, a line is in the room, a line is in the room, and your adrenals get tired. They get exhausted from all that stimulation. So now you have adrenal fatigue where you're just flat. And either you need more coffee or you're just non-functional. All because of coffee. Meanwhile, you're growing a beard and it doesn't feel good, but you can cut out the coffee. You can cut back on or cut out the processed foods, and certainly you can cut out the dairy or cut back on and take on non-dairy options. What can you do instead of coffee, right? What can you do instead of coffee to feel refreshed, to feel like you can take the day on? Again, I have 5 children. I don't take coffee and I have plenty of energy, not every day, because some days I don't do things quite right. But number 1 is get better sleep. Get better sleep. Sleep hygiene is very important for women. It helps us balance our hormones so that they're not out of whack, so that we're not growing chin hair and or losing head hair. Sleep. Get better sleep. You know, instead of scrolling, I do it, especially after a tired day. I'm like, I want to relax. Instead of scrolling, start a new habit maybe where you're journaling, doing something that does not stimulate your brain and wake you up more when you're trying to go to sleep. Another one is gratitude. So that instead of negative thought patterns, like thinking about the day, what you could have done better, what you did wrong, what you said to that person, how you should have said it, gratitude. Just think about other things and then go to sleep. Wake up feeling better. There's so many things you can do with sleep hygiene. And maybe I should put in the comments, I did say I'll put a link in the comments for the membership, and I will put, this is reminders for myself, and I'll put another link in there for sleep hygiene, something that you can just download to learn how to get better sleep. Because if you get better sleep, you don't need coffee. And once you stop drinking coffee, your adrenals will start producing the right kind of hormones that will keep you energized during the day. We're on now to the bonus. I told you I'd have a bonus for you. A bonus source of chin hair for women is the opposite of this. This is a stainless steel inner container that I'm drinking my water from. But a lot of us these days are on the go and we're drinking water from plastic bottles, those soft ones that we buy in the stores that are not BPA free. That means they have BPA in it, and BPA, you've probably heard for years, it has been causing havoc. People are trying to take it out of everything, but it can't come out of everything because we need some soft plastics, and it's cheaper to produce those kinds of plastics. Water bottles tend to have BPA in them unless they say they're BPA free, of which I have not found smaller water bottles that are BPA free, unfortunately. And BPA mimics some of the hormones in your body and throws off your hormones. Not only does it mimic, but it's also toxic. And your body has trouble getting rid of that little plastic particles that are just sticky and stick everywhere in your body. And it throws off your hormones, causing you again to have more testosterone and androgen hormones and more chin hair. It is such a problem, and it's affecting post-menopausal women as well. That means as people are going into menopause, they're starting to find the effects of BPA coming out more in their menopause journey. And not only are they getting chin hair as well, but they're having so many weight issues, mood issues. Have you met like just cranky old women? Listen, have mercy on them. They have some serious things going on in their hormones. And if we're not careful, our generation is going to get it way worse because we have so many things going on that are throwing off our hormones. I mean, like these smell goods we're putting in our air, right? The Glad, the plugins, they are hormone disruptors. We're wearing plastics on our clothes because we're wearing polyester, and when our body gets warm, some of those plastics are being absorbed by our bodies. They mimic estrogen. Just a mess, a huge mess. Listen, mamas, listen, while I have your attention, I have this fascinating thought. It's actually exciting for me because I have preteen daughters. And as they're going into their teenagehood, I try to teach them about hormones. But I'm thinking, and I've talked to other moms, and they're like, yes, yes, yes. I'm thinking, let's get our children together. Let's come with them. Let's do an event. And let's together learn about these hormones, go more in depth, bring hormone experts from all around, and have a few days that we just set apart to protect and educate our young girls so that they don't have to live with bursting faces of acne. They can fix that so that they don't have to go through years of painful periods and cramping and heavy periods or infertility issues. We can help them fix that so that they don't have to go through PMS heavily, chin hair, sticky weight, thinning hair, heart issues, brittle nails. There are so many symptoms of hormonal imbalance that we don't know about because we were not given this information. But I'm thinking a live event is in order where we can just come together, equip the next generation to have a better life, and we ourselves become more grounded in what's going on with our bodies and how to fix it. Even that sticky weight, how to fix it. It's all related. It's all related. Well, if that sounds like something you would be interested in, or you know a mom who has young girls and you know that you don't want her girls to go through what you may have gone through, what you've seen other people go through, send her this video. And I'm going to put a link below because I just want to see, is there more interest? How many people are like, yep, I would totally do that. I would totally do that. And I'm going to put a link for yes, to see how many people are like, yes, yes, I definitely want that. I want that for my children. I want that for my nieces. I want that for my grandchildren, whatever. Let's do this. Let's equip them. They're going to have a great generation. They're going to have a good life because we're going to teach them what we never knew. All right. So that's all for the bonuses. If you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button. I will be bringing you more of this type of information, and I will also be helping you figure out how to fix this hormonal chaos. All right, not just the why, and for you to see why it's happening, but also how. If there's a specific topic you want me to talk about that I mentioned already, whether it's the thinning hair, the belly fat, any of it, you have any questions, ask them below. Send this video to someone who might find it helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, mama.